Hey everybody, I know I usually use this platform to have fun, to joke around, and I think that is so necessary and for me so natural, and that's like my response to like stress and when people seem worried, like if I'm in line at a bank and people seem like stressed out, or if I'm like at the post office and people are like, oh, I try to like crack a couple jokes, be like, hey, where are you from? I feel like that's how I was brought up. I remember my mom being kind of like that person, and I feel like I've absorbed some of that from her. And it's dawned on me, I remember when my mom would come back from voting when I was a kid, and I always remembered she'd be kind of like exasperated or seemed kind of almost like nauseated or something, just like, oh god, that was such a gut-wrenching experience. And I'd be like, just go into a booth, you hit a couple buttons, like how bad could it be? But what she was talking about, now I understand, and she's kind of explained this. When she was growing up, she volunteered, got involved with like Kennedy stuff, was excited about Martin Luther King's message, Frieden, all these different people, who were trying to, with like the core of their being and every ounce of them, dedicate their lives fully to these acts of altruism, to raising everybody up, to these egalitarian efforts. And now we see like it is like the opposite what's happening. You have people only acting upon selfish impulses and thinking subjectively, politicizing science, politicizing the clouds, politicizing the ground we walk upon. Just like complete absurdity. But I understand, getting back to what I was saying, what she means now, because as much as hey, I voted for Biden, it's like obviously that's the only choice like a sane person has. So but even as I was doing it, I'm like, okay, I'm voting for this guy, and, he's kind of moderate. I don't think he's going to try to really push through a lot of the concerns that I have, having been someone that's worked in restaurants, like, dead-end restaurant jobs my whole life. And, you get just shit on all the time. Like, you get paid garbage, you don't have any benefits, if you complain, you just get placated to. I think what it boils down to is that we have these antiquated structures that are built and based on the momentum of like the 80s and the 60s and the boomer years. And we haven't adapted our cities and towns and businesses to the new reality of like what is like this. It's not the case like where back in the day you could go to high school and get a high school degree and get a factory union job and make $70,000 a year to go work at Kodak and then put your kids through college. That doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I know people with masters and doctorates who can't even get a house, living in an apartment, working at a smoothie place. And, we're all in the same boat, right? And that's the thing. Republicans, Democrats, no matter who you vote for, we're all kind of eating the same shit sandwich right now. I think a lot of what you're seeing with the vitriol that's happening at the protests, at the voting sites, people standing outside, count the votes. And, online, on Facebook, families blocking each other, this and that. I think a lot of what's happening, all of our fear is coming from the same place. All of our problems are coming from the same place. It's just, stuff is a mess right now. People can barely hold down a job, and if they're lucky to even have one, won't have benefits, won't have pregnancy leave, won't have good insurance, no 401ks. Most of my restaurant job friends, we're barely surviving. Even if you work at a good place, it's just not sustainable. Even the best restaurant in the world that's like paying a decent wage, it's still just not sustainable. The proposed $15 an hour would still put most people below the poverty line.